handicapped accessible?
Yes, if you look in the center there, the two stalls in the center are fully handicap accessible. The ramps will be handicap accessible. There actually will be 2 showers on the outside. That's just an ad. They're not necessarily handicap accessible. They will be, but there will be 2 showers also, similar to McCook's and Hole in the Wall.
McCook's, yeah.
Okay. And then for the sinks and the wash-up area, will those be paper towels, or will they be?
There will be accelerator hand dryers, because we've had great difficulties with providing paper goods in bathrooms, public bathrooms. So we go straight to the accelerator hand dryers, same that are in McCook's and Hole in the Wall right now. We made the mistake of doing Hole in the Wall with paper goods, and that has been subsequently switched.
Okay, thank you.
Good call. Yes, Paul.
So, to be able to move it in a storm or in the off-season, you're gonna have power, water and sewer hookups to it. How's it gonna be foundated? Anchors to the ground, or is it freestanding, or?
There will be, you drive it in, the hitch will be removable so that you don't see it. There will be 4 jacks on each corner to make this thing appropriate, and each utility will be a quick disconnect. So
So the only foundation is the weight of the unit on the jacks? It's not anchored into the ground?
it's not anchored into the ground, no. We've run the numbers, and very, you know how we have some nor'easters where the water comes up? There's probably been 2 nor'easters in the last 15 years where we would have had to pull the trailer out. Obviously, Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Irene. So there have been 4 times in the last 16 years that we would have had to remove the trailer.
I just know my experience with personnel trailers and the city of Groton, they have to be anchored. They can't be just freestanding, so as long as it complies with our building code, that's fine. I'm not-
I'll look into that.
And it's a wind load issue, vice, a water issue,
Well, this manufacturer tells us that that there's a jack in each 4 corners for leveling it, and I'm assuming that takes the weight off
Take
the
the pressure off the
tires. But that's a good point. I'll bring that up with the manufacturer.
Thank you.
It's always good having you down there,
Okay.
Paul. You have a lot of experience in this stuff. Any other questions for Bill? Thanks, Bill. You've done a lot of work on this, and can't
you.
wait to see a product.
We'll have you in for the first seating.
Good, Roseanne.
So you want to put a motion out there, and then we can have a discussion about if we're taking something out, or I guess you
Sure.
can make your motion the way you want to make it.
No, I'll put it as done, and we can always amend it if so decided. Whereas the Board of Selectmen has determined that a true and very real need exists for the acquisition of the vehicles and equipment described presented at this meeting, be it resolved to approve an appropriation in the amount of $388,080.60 for the purpose of acquiring by way of lease or purchase various vehicles and equipment more particularly described in the town's fiscal year 2017-2018 equipment acquisition plan, as evidenced by one or more agreements for the acquisition of said vehicles by lease or purchase or a combination thereof, for a total price of $369,400 plus interest at the rate of 1.98% per annum, payable in annual installments of $77,616.12, which is $6,468.01 per month over a period of 5 years. The first selectman is authorized in the name and on behalf of the town to execute and deliver any documents that may be required in connection with said transactions and forward to the Board of Finance for approval, and this requires a town meeting.
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded. Let's have some discussion. Kevin, you had mentioned taking out the pickup truck.
For now,
Well, let's take it out.
Okay.
So you take it out, and then you put it in next year. My thought, I understand. This was all approved at public meeting, a town meeting, and roughly, Anna, if we had $43,000, these acquisition plans are a 5-year payment. It's a 60-month deal. About what's the difference in a monthly or an annual?
So the monthly payment is about $793 different, and the annual payment's about $9,000.
$9,000. About $9,000. But if we can squeeze another year out of it, I'm not opposed. But I'd like to hear maybe.
Well, I'd like
From others?
to, yes, I'd like to find out about the vehicle that this vehicle would be replacing.
Right.
And we're told that it's in rough shape. I would like to make certain that rough shape doesn't mean unsafe.
Well, we can ask. This isn't a public hearing or anything. The pickup truck at the dump that's being used now. I call it the dump, the transfer station.
Probably should come up to the,
It's not unsafe, or else we would redline it and not use it.
okay.
When it's in rough shape, the lift in the back doesn't work. It would cost more than the truck is worth to fix it. There's a lot of rust all over it. It's old, it's not.
Joe, do they use it on the road or is it strictly up at the site?
No, they start their day at the FSB. And
Oh,
they
yeah,
there,
they drive, right.
They drive to town hall to drop off their receipts. Sometimes they do pickups, bulky pickups with that, but now they really can't do
We
bulky
can't.
weight because the lift doesn't work in the back, and now you're gonna place everything over and still get it back in reason.
Does the park and rec truck that's going to be handed down to does that have a lift?
Yes, it does.
Oh, good question. A working lift.
A working lift.
Another good question.
That you had.
Do you do pickups in the wintertime? For,
Bulky pickups?
yes.
No, that stops. There's a period of time for about 3 months where it stops. I'm not exactly sure the time, it's like late November, it picks back up in the spring.
Would there be heavy things at the transfer station that they would be using that for in the winter season?
No, because we have the loader. We can pick anything up with the loader. It's not for moving stuff around the transfer station. It's for moving stuff from the transfer station or from people's residences back to the transfer station.
My recommendation would be that we hold off on the pickup truck with the understanding that if we don't face further cuts and that we're able to add this into our expenditures in 3 months or 4 months, that we do that within this current year budget. Is that a
For
possibility?
next year, we could do it because this is an acquisition plan. We've gone to the bank with a plan and a certain dollar amount. We go once a year for that. I mean, we could go out and just buy a vehicle, I think, and not put it in the acquisition, but we'd be paying much higher interest rates. We're buying bulk interest rate now. That's why it's only 1.98% interest rate. Am I right on that, Anna? This is typically once a year we go out and make the acquisition plan purchases.
Thank
So,
you.
we could, well, no, we couldn't. I was gonna say we could approve it and not buy it if we get caught, but we get, the loan starts. The loan starts.
Yes.
So we'll be paying on the monthly payment and the interest whether we have the vehicle or not.
You know, if we were not to approve it, then from a safety standpoint, we'd have to go, I would highly recommend we go fix the lift. We shouldn't have town employees out there trying to lift things over the side of a pickup truck on a daily basis. It's,
I've been told it's gonna cost more than the pickup, and we can do that.
well,
Yeah,
if
if
it's
it
gonna
get-
cost more than the pickup, then I would recommend we don't remove it, and we incur the $9,000 a year cost so that the service can continue to be provided.
But not only the service, I like what your point was, which is we also have a workman's comp issue when you're talking about lifting things and wear and tear on our fellows that work up there. That's a good point. Other thoughts?
I agree with the concern for the workers' comp issue. It would cost you a lot more than the replacing the pickup truck in the long run. And there is the interest advantage of getting it now. And it's not, you've got a vehicle that isn't fully functional. Without that lift gate working, there'll be a lot of instances where it can't do what it needs to do. So I'm in favor of keeping it in.
So we have a 2003 Chevy pickup that's 15 model years old at this point with 117,000 miles on it. And what we'd like to do is hand that down to the transfer station so they can squeeze yet another 5 years or more out of it. So it would seem like we don't want to drive it all the way into the ground, so we can't hand it down because then we'd be buying 2 pickup trucks. I'm going to support the pickup truck based on some of the comments I heard tonight. I wasn't sure which way I'd go with it, but I think where it's in there, I'm going to keep it in there. My vote will be to keep it. Any other comments?
No?
All right. Thoughts?
Like I said, it was just a thought I had, but
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not going to not support the motion because of that. I'll support purchasing it.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
only support it if the Board of Finance is going to allow us to have pictures of things that we can actually see.
I'm going to. I'll ask Joe for some better black and whites before next
Yeah.
Wednesday, and I'll be happy to go up there and take it myself. All in favor of the motion to approve as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Thank you all. You provided a lot of in-depth information, which gave us an opportunity to make a really confident decision on this. I appreciate it. And all the work that goes on before we even get to this level. Much appreciated. Special appropriation of the Board of Education acquisition program of $504,058.80. Gulp. So,
Now you've done it.
yeah, some people are more radioactive than others
That would
when
be
they
me.
get up there. Maybe I think it is a static electricity issue. So, Mr. Newton is here, obviously our superintendent of school, and maybe you can walk us through, sir.
Sure. Let me tell you, we've got 2 items that are on the docket, as you're aware. One being our computer replacement and acquisition, part of the acquisition plan, the 5-year plan, as well as the pool dehumidification system. Let me start with the pool dehumidification system. There's no picture that you'll have up there. All of our supplies are frozen, so you're not even getting paper from us
Okay.
at this point. But you don't want to see a white box, basically, that's 12 by 12 anyways, that's going to go between 4 walls. But we currently have in our pool of 19 years now an air handling system that has been in place that obviously circulates air, but it does not dehumidify the air. I think we're lucky. Our roof has lasted as long as it has. It's a 20-year roof. We need to extend the life of that roof. There's a lot of condensation and moisture that is sitting in those rafters. So we continue to look at that. And we need a new system in there to better treat that air and reduce all the moisture, condensation, and heat that's in that pool area, so we can extend the life of the current roof. If we don't put this in, I think we're gonna be in trouble and coming back to you sooner than later, looking for a new pool roof. So in addition, the pool Nutmeg Aquatics, the pool, the programs that have been in place have raised over the years revenue, and they have put $100,000 of their earned money towards this. So we are asking for $267,000 with a price tag of $367,000 to replace this, to again extend the life of the pool. So that's a lot of money that they've raised and they've built up. And for that reason, years ago when the pool was put in, that was the purpose that they said they were going to raise money, and they've done that. So they're proud to bring forth a big chunk of the cost of that to move that forward. So we are also on a timeline, as Bill is with the Cheney bathrooms. We had locked in a price back last winter, and they're still holding that for us because. As you recall, this was supposed to all happen back in July and June, and we only have a small time frame to put this unit in, and it takes about a month's time to get the unit in, and that's over the summer. So we need to order this within the next month and a half at the latest. It has to be manufactured, it has to be delivered, it has to be prepared for setup, and it has to go in this summer during that month of July, when the pool is the quietest, because all of our programs are running as of right now. So we're really on a time crunch. Otherwise, we gotta wait a whole nother year, and that's just gonna impact the roof itself. So that's information on the pool dehumidification system. The computer components. This is our ongoing process of bringing forth and replacing new desktops, laptops. We're moving away from smart boards. I don't know if you know the difference with smart boards. You have a projector on the wall, and you have a board on the wall and a projector that shines down on it. There's a substantial cost for that, so we're moving more to LCD board projectors, and that's it, just on the wall, where they're touch enabled, which is a much lesser cost. So technology is advancing at a rapid rate, which is a good thing. But we are in need of continuing to replace and not add new smart boards, but add these new projector boards. In addition, our laptops, we can't keep up with the technology that's going on in the classrooms with our students. Many of our programs, our software programs, are all online driven now, and putting kids in front of devices is where it's at and what we need to be doing. We need to continue to add to that, our laptop cards, and continue to replace to keep our equipment up to date. So you have that information, the breakdown of that information that's in there regarding our requests in those areas. And one other piece in relation to desktops, we're trying to move towards laptops. We still do have our computer labs in each of the schools, and those all have those set desktops in them. So we need to continue to refresh and replace those. And when they get replaced, we simply try and move them into classrooms if they're still usable. So I can answer any questions on either one of those items.
I have one, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe you know. How many computers are available in the high school? I assume these are all for high school?
No.
Or is this middle school too?
This is all 5 schools and central office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all
So
5 schools and central office.
that's different. Do you know how many computers we're running in the whole system? They're
boy,
strictly
well-
for the students, not, obviously you have some in your office, but
Yeah,
the
and
secretaries have
staff.
them. But
I can tell you at least over 800,
okay.
probably, between staff and students. Yeah, easily over 800. I don't have the exact number. I
Yeah.
can work to get it for you.
But maybe 600 for the students?
Yeah, I would say
yeah.
500 to 600 at least for students.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
And still not enough, especially at
Oh,
those
yeah,
lower
right.
grade levels with
Right.
all the
Now they're in
the
them,
programs. I mean, you'll have a primary grade classroom with stations, and one of the stations will be 5 laptops around on a table where students are working on software, on programs, online programs. Reading Plus is one where it's a supportive intervention program for reading. Great stuff. It's really been great for kids.
Great. Questions?
Yeah, so this represents about, a 20% replacement of your 800 with buying 175. The only thing that I noticed is the interactive boards is a significant increase over past years. Is that because the quantity's increasing? You've gone, from 39, 29, 20,000, 67,000, now it's up to 92. Is this additional boards or is this replacing?
Mostly replacement, and again, we're trying to cut down on those costs, but move the smart boards out. Not just get rid of them, but when a smart board breaks, and they do break, we don't purchase another one. We want to use an old one, move it over and replace one that's broken, and then bring in the interactive board, which is going to have a better longevity as well and better use.
It's good to see that your computer refresh number is less than the past, which is good to see. Foolish question maybe, but do the computers include all the software you need for their use?
Not all. At times we have to put those items on, and we're working very hard, especially this year, in bringing software purchases and professional development purchases up to our central office, so if one school needs something or wants something, and another school wants something similar or different, we have one site that's saying, okay, let's purchase, this many packages for these 5 schools at a cheaper price, sort of thing. So, and we're monitoring usage as well with that, because if teachers aren't using it and staff aren't using it, then why are we buying it? So we're monitoring it as well.
Thank you.
Real good. Real good management. Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Newton, for coming out. Thank you, Dr. Hagan. Nice to see you. Nice to see you healing. Okay. What's your pleasure?
I'm moved the following. Whereas, upon the recommendation of the Board of Education, the Board of Selectmen has determined that a true and very real need exists for the acquisition of the equipment described. Be it resolved to approve an appropriation to the Board of Education in the amount of $504,058.80 for the purpose of acquiring by way of lease or purchase or combination thereof various new computer and smartboard equipment for the high school, middle school, Niantic Center School, Lily B. Haynes School, Flanders School, and the central office, more particularly described in the East Lyme Public Schools proposed Year 1 Computer Replacement Plan 2017 and 18, and for partial funding of the East Lyme High School pool dehumidification system for the total amount of $480,735 plus interest at a rate of 1.98% per annum, payable in annual installments of $100,811.76, $8,400.98 per month over a period of 5 years, and forward to the Board of Finance for approval, and this requires a town meeting.
Second.
Motion is second. Further comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Abstain?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, gentlemen. Onward to the next one. The next is a special appropriation of CNRE $35,000 for the Cheney Park bathrooms.
I'll make a motion. I think we've pretty much discussed this, but I'll put the motion out so we
Okay.
can discuss it. Move to approve a special appropriation and transfer in the amount of $35,000 from CNRE Fund 32, account 32-70-300-500-100, Town Project Allocations, and establish an account titled Cheney Park Restrooms for partial funding for the purchase of a portable restroom trailer for Cheney Park and forward to the Board of Finance for approval. This purchase is consistent with the capital improvement plan. This will require a town meeting.
Second.
Okay. So just so you know, because we jumped right to a motion, half of that trailer is going to be in the acquisition plan. We're going to finance it over 5 years, and the other half, we're taking it out of a CNRE. We have a town project account because things come up in the town, and this is a very appropriate use. We just didn't want to drain the whole account, so we took the $35,000 out of here, and we thought this was the right way of doing it, splitting it in half and doing it this way. So much discussion on this in my office with Anna before we came to this conclusion. This is the right way of doing it. So. That's why you're seeing this actually twice tonight. 35 coming out of CNRE, 35 on the acquisition plan. Any other comments or questions?
Just how much will be left in the town project allocation,
Oh dear. Anna,
roughly?
roughly of the CNRE town projects,
About 54,000.
that's what we have in there now?
No, we have a little over 87.
There you go.
Thank you.
Just didn't want to drain it all the way down. Any other questions? I'll move the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Abstain?
Yes, ma'am. Discussion about future agenda items comes up.
You do the
Wanna go back to
appropriation
A, Mark?
of the appointment?
Did I miss one?
You said you were gonna come back to A, I just know when you're gonna come
Budget update.
back to it. Budget update?
Well, let's do the budget update, and then we can talk about future agenda items. Okay, that's fine. So we'll go to 3A on our agenda, which has been kind of floating out there. Budget update. I think you all received updates in your folders today. And what we're wishing to do is talk about, we have gone through our budget at the town and encumbered? Is that the word? Where we go to each department and say, you no longer have this money, you have less than this money. And we've identified savings and opportunities for cuts to reach the number we needed to reach, which was about 291,000. Which line am I looking at? And Anna, I'm probably gonna have to have you up at the podium anyway. I know you're very comfortable back there and nodding off a little bit. Our ace, Anna Johnson, has worked very hard on this, and this has been a very frustrating period of time for both the Board of Ed and the town, when we just keep on looking toward Hartford for an answer, a final answer, just so we can go on with our business. And while we were cut about 400,000 or so initially by the legislature, then of course it went to the governor, who made discretionary cuts, which he is allowed to do by our state constitution, of I think up to 10%, and he attacked the municipal governments, which he has been attacking through this whole period, and came up with additional cuts. So our total cuts in neighborhood of $1.1 million. That said, keep in mind, in the budget process, we held aside about $300,000, knowing that there would be some cuts. So that would leave us a balance, and I'm ballparking it, $900,000. And you can give us exact numbers or point to where those exact numbers are. In a previous agreement with the Board of Ed and the Board of Finance, because our budgets are roughly shared 1/3 for the town, 2/3 for the Board of Ed, it was decided long before any cuts came down that we would also share those cuts, 1/3, 2/3, whether it was all town cuts, or in many cases, a significant case could have been the ECS cuts, education cuts. The town would have to bear the third cut there as well. So we're splitting it fairly and, or at least balanced. And maybe you want to kind of walk us through this sheet you've given out tonight?
Yeah, so in your folders, there was a chart. It actually has like two charts, one on the top and one
Yep.
on the bottom. And the top chart represents where things stood after the budget that the legislature adopted on October 25th. And then the bottom section shows how it all played out for us after the governor's cutbacks on November 17th. So when the original legislature budget was adopted, the difference between the budget and what the town what we had in our adopted budget was approximately $308,500. However, we received more LoCIP dollars than we budgeted, a little over $100,000, and in addition to that, another change that was made is in the adopted budget, cities and towns are now responsible for 50% of the renter's rebate program up to $250,000. So East Lyme rebate program, a little over $100,000 goes out. So what the state is going to do is they are going to reduce one of our subsequent payments of the ECS grant by that $50,000 some odd dollars. The way it was written up is the state can identify what grant they plan to take the renter's rebate program out of. And so that's why I've done a little reconciliation. You'll see the $308,000 difference, and then I add in the extra LoCIP and renters program because the LoCIP dollars are not intended to fund the rest of the budget. The grant increased, so that means that we have to spend more money through the LoCIP program. And then, as Mr. Nickerson noted, the Board of Finance included a little over $300,000 in extra taxes as a cushion for what the state may or may not do. So what the legislature